All right, it's a great day. This is Gavin Mehl, Global Mastermind Call. Today is week number 9, and today's going to be all about the law of attraction, the hush-hush information on the law of attraction and how to benefit, part number 2, continuing from last week. So the hush-hush information on the law of attraction, how to benefit, part number 2. So Gavin Mehl, Global Mastermind Call number 9, and today is January the 29th, 2016. Amazing, incredible start of the year, and today's gonna be the most powerful, profound call that I've ever done in the last 6 months. So I even put a jacket on right now. I put a full suit on because I feel amazing. And you look. I believe that the clothes that you wear does have an effect on how you feel, and I feel incredibly good. Actually, I've never felt better. So introduction here today. What's the motive? What if you could have anything that you wanted in life? The ideal body, the perfect relationships, the dream home, the ideal amount of passive income, total freedom in all areas of life. That is really what is possible by mastering the law of attraction. Okay. And the law of attraction is just another name for love. The law of attraction is just another name for love, but law of attraction is more known by people. This is Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind Call number 9, and today this video is going to be all about basically the law of attraction. And this, first of all, Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind Call is not a guru's call. I'm not coming to you from a guru's perspective at all. I'm coming to you on the same level and same wavelength that you're at right now. As a student, I'm just a humble student myself, and I'm always going to be a student forevermore. I'm never going to stop being a student. So I'm equal to anyone else. I mean, in fact, I've probably failed more than a lot of other people out there because I've taken so many hacks. I've been up to the plate so many times. I have so much experience that I'm going to talk about today. So first for this information I'm going to talk about today is going to be in a blog post below. So just to help make it even easier to learn this content and save it, I've actually already pre-planned this, and I've written a blog post below. You can click on it to kind of get an outline as to what I'm talking about here today. So if this is your first time on the call, I've been doing these calls for the last 6 months. It started back in July of 2015. And it's the 9th time that I've been doing them on YouTube or on Google Hangout. So my name is Gavin Mehl. I'm from Sacramento, California. I reached the #1 position of 10,000 people right out of college of a large company. I first experienced the law of attraction after holding those ranks for 20 straight months. I experienced this profound law of attraction for the first time accidentally. I didn't even know what it was called. I didn't even know it existed at all. But I experienced it reflecting back on it now, for the very first time, holding this #1 spot for so long in this big company. So I want to talk today. First of all, I love learning from stories, and I love, I think they're interesting. And so I understand that a lot of people may be impatient, and I learning the secrets, learning the hush-hush information on the truth behind the law of attraction. And so I know exactly how you feel. I mean, let me just share a quick story. I know exactly how you feel if you're impatient about, wanting the truth now. You want the secrets now. Do forgive me, first of all, for the personal pronoun I. Okay, I use the personal pronoun I that is used because much of this comes from my own personal experience, which is very 100% true and accurate. And don't take my word for any of this. Don't trust me. Don't trust anybody that you meet on the internet. Okay, don't trust me. Experience it and do it yourself. Okay, I'm just going to give you some information that you can apply and experience yourself. So trust your own experience and trust your own research. But I'm going to just help provide the shortcut from all the years of experience and research that I've done that I know and believe will help people. But again, don't take my word for it. Experience it yourself and do your own research. Okay. Last week, much of the content, last week, allow me to illustrate a little bit about what I mean by learning from stories. I got my first job out of college, and I learned the secret. I wanted to learn the secret of earning $10,000 a month. So like many of you, I was impatient. I wanted to learn the secret of getting to $10,000 a month. That's what I was told I was going to get, and I wanted it now. So when I came in, I was told, I told the story last week on the call. You can go back and listen to the whole thing, but I was told to hit the phones. I was given a stack of leads and told, say, hit the phones. No training, no secrets, just phone calls. And after a week, I got the courage to finally ask the manager, this guy Byron at the time, when I would learn the secrets to making $10,000 a month, because that's why I was there. I was there to learn the secrets. I wanted the real, the behind the scenes information. I'd had success, but I wanted to reach 10,000 a month. And he says, you really want to know the secrets? I said, yes, 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 please. And he said, the secret is believing that you can do it. Really, it was that simple. It took me 4 months of complete failure and believing that I was in the wrong. I made a big mistake. I was in the wrong business. By the 5th month, I accidentally somehow hit the law of attraction to work, and I became the #1 in the company. And I held that rank for 20 straight months, committed to it. And by the end of it, almost 2 years later, it became almost like Jedi mind trick easy. It was something that I couldn't teach other people, other than the fact that it was just believing I could do it. The confidence level was through the roof. So the simplicity in the hush hush information, really, it was first talked about in the Master Key System. The Master Key System was published in 1912 by Charles Haanel. And it's a hidden gem. Most people don't know about the Master Key System, but it was Napoleon Hill's. It was the only course that I ever seen him endorse. And for those who follow my other videos, or for the last 6 months, or you'll notice that everything is based upon Napoleon Hill. And I believe that he is the top of the top. He created more millionaires than anyone else in history. His results speak for themselves. He created more millionaires than Mr. Carnegie did, which Carnegie told him he would do. So, but it was then published in the Law of Success in 16 lessons. I wrote an article on this, which is in the blog post. You can take a look to learn more about it and get the information on the Law of Success. Law of Success was taken off the market, okay, and then it was reprinted without the key elements. And Hill said that when he learned the secrets of the Law of Attraction and creating wealth, that from Andrew Carnegie, and he said that the money came so fast it frightened him. Money and tremendous wealth and success came so fast, it frightened him. But alas, as Hill would say, he talked about, but alas, he stopped being frightened because no one used the secret because it was too simple. People were looking for a much more complicated strategy. So I'm going to try to keep this as basic and as simple as possible, because I really believe it is simple, okay? But again, it comes down to believing that you can do it. I love learning by stories. So let me share another story with you here. I remember when I first experienced this profound law of attraction, working and reaching the very top. My Pellegrino water. Of #1 of 10,000. So not of one or 10 people or a small group. We're talking 10,000 people, a large company reaching the #1 position, my first job out of college. You know, I would be oftentimes interviewed by the company on company trips, and they would want me to do motivational speeches and talk to the other salespeople, across the company, and tell them the secrets. What am I doing? And these other people, want to learn about being successful. A lot of times they're new people coming in, and I would tell them, I say, first of all, don't read my word, take my word of this history. Go and go to my LinkedIn page, and you can just look at the endorsements or the recommendations from my peers and contact those guys and those peers on there that were there at the time, and you can get the real story from them. Okay, so don't take my word for it. But I remember coming into a room one time. They would have me speak to these new hires and a lot of the other salespeople to tell them the secrets of being successful, reaching the #1. How did I do it? I remember coming to the room and speaking to a big group of new people that wanted to learn the secret. And I told this story to them about when I started with, and I got questions like, what do I do different from other people? And I would say, if there's a secret, it comes in twofold. I would tell them it comes in twofold. First, I would say the secret is believing that I can do it. Okay? The second is focusing on the do, the action side of the business, and not the how. I would tell them that when new people failed, as they'd come into to my office, they'd get the boot. It was because they were too focused on learning how the business worked and not doing the business. So they didn't produce. And so they would get fired, they'd get canned. So I would think that was the number one reason for failure that I experienced, that I witnessed. And I would tell them that people would try to learn everything they could and not do. So they're focused on the how, not the do. So I remember one of the specific guys, shout out to Ryan Brown. He was a Delta Chi fraternity brother of mine. And read Ryan Brown's recommendation on my LinkedIn profile and contact him to verify if this information is accurate. Don't take my word for it. But Brown was an excellent salesman. He'd become a top producer of selling advertising with the Yellow Pages phone book. And I remember specifically when we hired him, I warned him. I said, you're not going to be doing any selling. Okay. So in the beginning, you're not going to do any selling like he was used to. I said he would just be focusing on the do side of the business, and he's not going to be learning much. He's just going to be doing it, which is basically making phone calls. And he asked me, he said, Gavin, why can't I sell? And I asked him, I said, well, do you trust me? He said, yes, you've never lied to me before, and you have what I want. I was number one in the company. So I replied, I said, if you do what I say, focus the word do. If you do what I say, you're going to make $10,000 this month. But you have to focus on the do part of the business and not get stuck on the how. I told him, I said, if you ask 1,000 questions on trying to learn every technique that I'm doing and not focus on the action side, you can't do both. I told him you cannot do both. I told you, you're going to end up broke back selling phone books. I left it at his choice. So I told him. Well, success story, he actually was the best student I ever had. Shout out to him without question. He was so focused on the action side of the business that he set an all-time record for production and he made $20,000 that month, actually much higher than $10,000. At the end of the training with me, he got sent out on his own with a nice fat check and a boatload of confidence and believing that now he could do it to become successful. So do you understand the point there? He's like, he had reached success, even though he really didn't know how, but he was doing it. He was doing it, and he actually got paid really well. Now he's got paid, he's got the confidence, and he can go out on his own because of believing now that he could do it, because he'd done it, even though he didn't know all the how yet. He didn't know all that. He didn't need to know the how because he'd already had success. So I'm going to be covering the basics of understanding the law of attraction, the hush information. Okay, the stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else. The stuff that I really uncovered. Well, I'm telling you where it's coming from. The Master Key System and the law of success. So I highly recommend studying practicing those courses every day, like I do. But first, a quote. Bruce Lee. I told a story about Bruce Lee on 2 calls ago on Gavin Mehl Gold Master number 7, called 14 Seconds. Highly recommend listening to it. And I'll put a link here to the video as well. He said, "I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times." So to be a master, Bruce Lee was saying, to be a master, he had to master the basics, focus on the fundamentals. Hall of Famer baseball player Cal Ripken, he was known for his perfect game streak. But he was also known as one of the best defensive players of all time. And in his book, The Only Way I Know, he talked about being the first one to the ballpark and the last one to leave all the time, and taking simple ground balls, just basic ground balls. And people may think, why would he want to take basic ground balls? He doesn't need to get there early. He became the Hall of Famer. He was an all-star. Why would he want to take those ground balls and get there so early? He's an expert at doing that. But the reason he's an expert at taking ground balls and the reason he's in the Hall of Fame and was an all-star is because he mastered the simple basics, just the basic ground balls. So focus on the fundamentals, master the basics. There's three fundamentals. I'm going to go through them right here. So make sure to click the link for the blog post, and I would highly recommend just writing these down and making them part of your practice. So first, actually making really good time today, I'm surprised. First fundamental is something called the training balance scale. All right. And it's actually not balanced at all, but let me give you the breakdown of it. On one side is you could write, I don't have it on a chart or graph, but you could draw like a line and like a T chart if you wanted to. And on one side, you'd have thinking, like thoughts. On the same side, like say the left side, you'd have motivation, vibration, dreams, and the why in quotation marks. That'll be on the left side. And then on the right side of the training balance scale, there's two sides. You've got technique, skills, action steps, strategies, and then the how. So one side is the why, the other side is the how, and then they're each category is listed there. So this can be applied to any part of life. It doesn't have to be law of attraction. I mean, law of attraction really is the law is another word for love, which I believe circumferences all of life. But this can be a part of any part of life, business, relationships, anything that you have that you want to improve. And when I first heard this, I made the mistake of saying, well, tell me how it works. Tell me how it works. I made that mistake. And I remember the story about Ryan Brown. He was a guy who worked at the Yellow Pages. He came in and he followed the instructions of focusing on the do, not the how, and became the #1 record-breaking rookie, making $20,000 a month that month for his production. So remember that story. He focused on the do. This scale here, it's not balanced at all. Okay, the real secret of the training balance scale is all, not some, all of the emphasis needs to be focused on the thinking. Okay, almost none needs to be focused on the how. And I couldn't agree with this more. Again, first of all, this is not my information. All right, so don't look to me as, hey, where'd you come up with this? This is from high-level, successful people that I've been practicing and experiencing this information. This information has been around for as long as I know. But the secret is really just focusing on the thinking and not on the how. And I bet you're thinking right now, he's wrong. Tell me how. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And that's okay. You could feel that way, and I'm not going to be offended. You want to tune out and cancel. Just not watch. I'm okay with that. But I'm telling you the truth. It's the thinking. Okay? It's really the thinking. The law of success emphasizes the point of organized thought, organized effort throughout the entire course. In the very opening section, Napoleon Hill makes it very clear that the entire principle of the course is organized effort, organized thought. Okay, so it's the thinking. Andrew Carnegie became the richest man in the world, but before he became successful, he only worked 6 hours a day, and he would take summers off. Now, he didn't take time off to go and be lazy. I mean, they didn't have TV or check his phone or anything. No, he focused on concentration. He mastered thinking and concentrated effort. share the story here of 14 seconds again because I think it's so profound. Talk off the cuff, but there was a man who had written down his purpose, his goal in life, and he looked himself in the mirror with just furious passion and enthusiasm right in his left eye, because it's believed that the left eye is the gateway to the subconscious mind. And he would shout out his purpose with enthusiasm, his goal, to himself, talking to his own subconscious mind through his left eye. And finally, he broke through at some point after doing this repetition over and over. Finally, he broke through and he felt like he'd reached another level. Like he actually believed he was going to reach his goal. He believed he could do it. And later on in life, it's a true story. He actually wrote down his goal was, I, Bruce Lee, will become the #1 known martial artist star in the world, reaching world fame as a movie star and earning $10 million. And it's a true story. Actually, this is how it came about. It's the story of 14 seconds. Just focusing on himself, really in the mirror, and telling himself he could do it. Another story is when Napoleon Hill first met Andrew Carnegie. Okay, he first met Andrew Carnegie in 1908, and Carnegie told him at the end of the interview, after he accepted the position, he accepted the commission. This is after 3 days of meeting him, when he go to interview him for a newspaper or magazine, and they ended up commissioning him to take the science of success philosophy to the world. Carnegie said, now, Napoleon, I want you to write something down and promise me that you will look yourself in the mirror and say it every day after this, once a day. And he said, okay, what is it? He says, write down, I, Napoleon Hill, will not only equal Mr. Andrew Carnegie's achievements, but I will pass Andrew Carnegie's achievements and create more millionaires than Mr. Carnegie did. And those aren't the exact words. They're in the Law of Success. I'd have to get them down. I'm talking from memory, but he told him, Hill said, he stopped right there. He says, I can't do this, Mr. Carnegie. I'll never pass you up. I'm never going to pass your achievements up. And he said, well, yeah, you're right. If that's what you believe, then you're right. You never will pass my achievements. But if you believe you will, it will actually happen. So, Hill took his advice and he started doing it. He said after about 15 days, he kind of got the hunch that it might be possible. After 30 days of following Mr. Carnegie's instructions, he said he knew it was going to happen. Now, granted, it took years, 20 years of focused effort before Think Grow Rich was even, 20 years before Think Grow Rich was even came out. But he created more millionaires than Mr. Carnegie did. So it actually did come true. So the training balance scale, to summarize the training balance scale, I could put it into this simple summary. When your attitude is right, the facts don't count. So when the thinking is right, the facts and the how, they don't count. So when your attitude's right, the facts don't count. The next part is of the fundamental is the teachability index. Teachability index is really something I'm always grilling myself on, and I'm no perfect at this. Again, I'm a student. I'm not a guru. Okay, I'm not coming from a guru's perspective. I just have a lot of experience, and I've obsession with this law of attraction, and practicing the Master Key system and the law of success every day. But the teachability index comes down to how teachable am I 1 out of 10 right now? How teachable am I 1 out of 10? And I know that I don't know what I don't know. Okay, this determines how well myself or you in this case will understand this information. So you have to rate yourself on that. How teachable are you right now? So 10 out of 10 would be ideal. You're soaking this in. You'll do anything to master the law of attraction, to have your dream life. But there's two variables. First, what is your willingness to learn the material in the law of attraction on a scale of 1 out of 10? What is your willingness to learn this material, to master, take control of your life, and be or do anything that you want? What is your willingness to learn? Well, on a scale 1 out of 10, you have to rate yourself on that. But if you're listening thus far, you've got patience. I commend you for that. And you've got obviously a burning desire because you want to learn this information. So if you're reading books daily, if you're listening to audios daily, and if you're being around like-minded people on a regular basis, attending events in groups that are of like-minded people that are also focused on becoming successful, they don't have to be millionaires, okay, but they have to have the dream and the desire to get there. If you're around those types of people, then it's probably pretty high. Your willingness to learn this material is very high. The second part, what is your willingness to accept change at 1 out of 10? So you have to rate yourself 1 out of 10. What is your willingness to accept change to master the law of attraction? Well, if I'm not where I want to be right now, okay, am I willing to change, to start reading books daily and listening to audios daily and being around like-minded people that may be uncomfortable at first, but am I willing to change to do that? What if giving up TV, what if it took giving up TV completely to master this law of attraction? Would you do it? Well, I don't know, Gavin, TV, I don't know. Well, let me just tell you a quick story. One of the best decisions I ever made was giving up television, canceling my direct TV. It's been many years now. I don't even know how long it's been. But I'll tell you why I did it and what woke me up to it. Maybe because I know it may help other people who are watching this broadcast and the video. It was a book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, published all the way back in, I believe it was 1908. And it caused me to make a decision. It caused me to make a decision, a definitive decision. Okay, and here is the quote from the book that caused me to make this decision. I'll share it with you now. He said, "Do not rage against corrupt politicians. If it were not for politicians, we should fall into anarchy. And if your opportunity would be greatly lessened." God has worked a long time and very patiently to bring us up to where we are in industry and government. And he is going right on with his work. Remember that they are all helping to arrange the lines of transmission along which your riches will come to you, and be grateful to them all. This will bring you into harmonious relations with the good in everything. And the good in everything will move towards you. That's Wallace Wattles from The Science of Getting Rich. And that was the book. And that was really the quote that snapped me out of raging against politicians and watching TV and watching news and trying to solve the world's problems from the effects, and not focusing on the cause, which is taking control of my own mind and starting here first. This is years ago. Third fundamental. There's 4 steps to learning, okay, this material. 4 steps to learning this material. This is the third fundamental. Unconscious incompetence is the first part. So level 1, unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence is the first level. Basically, that just means complete ignorance, don't have a clue at all yet. I mean, no excuse for it, but it is what it is. That's level 1. Level 2 is conscious incompetence. So when I realized that for example, when I first heard this, got Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, And I realized at that point, I had to make a decision, because I realized that there was a way I could take control of my life and help fulfill my definite purpose. And I made a decision by canceling TV right then. So I realized that I didn't know what I didn't know. I realized there was a lot more out there that I didn't know. I was consciously incompetent. Level 3. Conscious competence. So this is basically when I will know consciously what I need to do to make the changes that I want to have in my life, okay? To command what I want in my life. I'm consciously aware of it now, and I'm consciously making the efforts to reading books daily, listening to audios daily, and being around positive, like-minded people daily, and planning on going to events or meetups or groups to meet people like that. I'm consciously taking these actions and commanding what I want in life. Here's a major secret that I've learned and I've experienced. When wanting something, success, an objective, a goal, it's about commanding it. Like if you have for example, my neighbor here, he's got a dog called Jaboom, and Jaboom loves to chase squirrels. He's obsessed with squirrels. He sees a squirrel, he runs. He caught one time, climbing outside. He caught a squirrel. He didn't hurt the squirrel. The squirrel ran away. But now, every time he's outside, he chases trying to find squirrels. So, but his owner, when I say something to Jaboom, the dog, he doesn't even listen to me. He doesn't hear me. He doesn't even look, because he's focused on the squirrel. But when his master, my neighbor, when his master commands him to come, he comes, and he leaves the squirrels alone. He comes back home, and he does what he's told, because his master commands him to come. I beg or say something, and he doesn't even hear me. But because his master commands him to come, Jaboom the dog, and stop chasing these squirrels, he listens and he comes. It's the same exact way with the law of attraction. Simple story. There's the secret. It's that basic. Command what you want. I command what I want in the mirror. I command what I want. I don't beg. I don't ask. I command. And because there's a whole big universe, there's a massive amount of energy out there that is, much higher power than myself, that is designed to respond to this. Nature must obey. Here's a major important point that I learned. The law of attraction, it's a law, the law of love. It's not something that might happen. It happens, okay? And you get what you command. It's a law. It's a physical law. Read the law, study the law of success, study the Master Key system. You'll find out that it's an actual law of nature. It's nature's law, okay? It has to happen. It's not luck. I used to think years ago, boy, I wonder if I'm going to have bad luck, or if I'm going to be cursed, or what if somebody said something about me? It might affect me. Well, it doesn't affect me, because I am in control of my own thinking. So it has no effect on me at all. None. Unless I let it affect me, unless I start thinking about it. Level 4, conscious incompetence. Now this, I'm going to share a story about. This becomes where it's a complete habit. It becomes easy. It's just happening automatically. Remember the story I talked about when I reached the #1 position of 10,000 people. After 20 months consecutive, it became laughable. I remember finishing calls, and I was on the phone making calls here before this hangout today on this video, and I experienced the same thing. I'm on the phone, and I just would hang up the phone. I would say, people love me. They love me. They all love me because my confidence was so high. It was at a level unmatched that they'd never experienced before. And I believed that I would make the sale, to getting into the next step before I picked up the phone. I saw the deal already closed and felt the exuberance and the excitement of reaching my goal before it had even happened. But I did it just naturally by that point. I became consciously incompetent. This is the level 4. This is the level that masters are at. And this is where the level that I reached at that point. Became consciously incompetent. I didn't even know what I was doing, but it was so natural. I had so much confidence that people could not say no. I would only turn them away as if it wasn't right for them. If it wasn't giving them benefit, then I would turn them away. But they could not say no. And don't trust me on this information. Go back to my LinkedIn, look at the recommendations on there, and you could contact all those people if you want to find out, talk to them. But I became consciously incompetent. That's the level 4, conscious incompetence. So call to action. This was first revealed in the Master Key System by Charles Handel in 1912, and the Law of Success, which was first published in 1927, then pulled off the market, and then re-released in 1928 called The Law of Success in 16 Lessons. But Hill discovered that money came so fast that it physically frightened him. When he discovered the secret, money, wealth, success, happiness, it came so fast, it frightened him. But then he stopped being frightened because he knew people weren't applying it. They weren't doing it because it was too basic. It was too simple. Super wealthy elite families, they teach their kids this when they're young. And so if you're not from that bloodline, not genetics, well, good news is that if you become obsessed with this information and you make it part of the law of attraction, part of your daily habit, your daily life, you can actually recreate your own destiny, okay? Because success is genetic if you make it genetic. But this is something that the super wealthy people and the elite class teach their young when they're first being introduced to the world. So call to action, subscribe to this channel, because this will fuel the Mastermind community, Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind community, and bringing this truth about the law of attraction to the world, because I believe that the truth needs to be told in different languages to new generations. Huffington Post says that by 2020, 3 to 5 billion new people are coming online. That's less than 4 years away. 3 to 5 billion new people are coming online. So a lot of these people are going to be learning from videos. So they need to hear the truth from real people like myself and you. Get on video every day. Do what you fear and get on camera, okay? I believe that this is the most profound and powerful time to get the truth out there to them. And the truth lies within themselves, within ourselves, in this mastermind community. So subscribe to this channel. It will help fuel me and fuel the mastermind community and getting this out there just by clicking the subscribe button. You don't have to, there's no money to pay, nothing to buy. This is all free information, value that I'm providing. It's my goal to provide tremendous amount of value, so much value out there to the world and to humanity and to the community, so much value, give first that I will receive back. Like Zig Ziglar says, help enough people get what they want, I'm going to get what I want. But I have so much experience with this information now. I've done an obsessive amount of research on it and reading, and I'm a ferocious reader, that I feel like I'd be cheating others by not helping them with the information that I have, okay, and getting this out there to them, because I know it will help people. It would really, if you like this video, do the thumbs up on it, leave a comment on it, and with any questions or comments or observations that you have. No questions, a dumb question, anything's welcomed. And if you really do believe it will help other people in this video, share the video with someone you care about, because this is valuable information. Master the basics, focus on the fundamentals. I'm going to continue more on this. I'm actually producing a series that's going to be about an actual technique that I do. and that I've done. I'm actually going to produce a series of what I've done with it. But again, it comes down to the basics and the fundamentals, because without the foundation, the focus on those 3 fundamentals first, the techniques doesn't even matter anyways, because you have to believe that we're going to do it first. Success is really just a decision away. And that's what I'm going to be talking about next week. It's going to be called Success is a Decision Away. Be part number 3 of the Law of Attraction on the Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind call. By the way, there is a huge, I believe the greatest online business opportunity happening right now in 2016. And there's a link below this video. It's a Facebook group. Just get as much information as you can. Educate yourself on what's going on. I would highly recommend it. Okay, just get as much information as you can. Join that Facebook group and start connecting with people. Make friends with them. See what they're all about. Who are those people? I would highly recommend. Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind is endorsing and recommending that you join that group, and recommending that you get as much information as you can about this, because I believe that the universe has lined up. Nature's laws have lined up, and this is all happening at the perfect time. And this is going to be the vehicle that is going to change more people's lives than anything I've ever seen. So just get the information. I believe that it's going to create more millionaires than Napoleon Hill did. That's how profound I believe it will be. Now, how many years that's going to take, I don't know. But I believe within the next 3 to 5 years, it will create more millionaires than Napoleon Hill did. Join the Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind group on LinkedIn. I'll put a link below for that, just so you can be in the loop, in the know on what's going on. Again, subscribe to this channel, and I would be much obliged if you like to get more information on my email list. I'll put a link below to that. On the blog post, you could just subscribe to that by adding your email, and you'll get actually tremendous value that I only send to my list, including you'll get the I'm going to put this new video that I'm going to do. It's going to be a vlog on the Law of Attraction. I'm not going to put it on my YouTube channel. It's going to be only on a special link. Okay, it's going to be unlisted. So you have to actually be subscribed to my list to get it. It's only going to be to my list. I'm actually going to be promoting that, but I'll just tell you that's the truth now. So by being on the list, you have to actually go to the blog and enter your email address. I'm going to be sending the special link to the group for this vlog on the actual method that I do use. And you'll be getting tremendously valuable content. I appreciate you watching. Again, focus on the fundamentals, master the basics, the 3 fundamentals, the training balance scale, the teachability index, and the 4 steps to learning. This is the Gavin Mehl Global Mastermind call number 9, January 29th, 2016. I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Thank you very much for your patience and subscribing. Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from any questions or comments or observations that you have. We'll see you again next week on Friday, the first week, Friday of February. All right, so thank you so much for watching. And we'll see you next time. Law of Attraction, the hush-hush information on the Law of Attraction and how to benefit. This is Gavin Mehl.